Greetings survivors and friends, SHADOWFRAX here, trawling up all the very latest in Rust development for you today, including more info on spawn changes, tweaks to Peacekeeper turrets, the Scientist AI rework, and a rundown on all that's expected to wash up in July's patch. But first, a free upgrade to the Abyss pack is on the way, and this also applies to anyone who already has it. Yesterday on the staging branch, these two new Abyss-themed storage barrels surfaced, with a horizontal and a vertical one, which is what we've come to expect now, and closely match the previous jungle and frontier themed ones. Both are highly detailed, with seaweed, netting, barnacles and pressure gauges, and as per have the same number of slots as a large wood box. When looking at the colliders, draw colliders 1 in console if you're curious, admin only command, we can see that they are basically all the same, with the exception of the horizontal frontier one, which for some reason seems to be slightly taller than the others. Although visually the Abyss one just has the edge with the extra seaweed poking up. I don't need to remind you that everything is subject to change, of course, but I will anyway. As I say, these will be arriving in July at no extra cost for anyone who buys the Abyss pack or already has it. How kind. One of the biggest bodies of work going on right now is a rework to Scientist AI, and much like the Wolf rework that we had a few months ago, this one aims to make Rust's poor old scientists much brainier and less predictable. There are so many commits regarding this, but just to pull a few highlights out for you, there's a first pass on a scientist patrol, and patrols will react to loud gun sounds and explosions in the vicinity. There's also lots of work on cover and hiding behaviour. For instance, scientists will sometimes opt for repositioning and staying on the offensive instead of staying in cover when they don't need to reload. If they hear footsteps approaching while reloading, they'll hide somewhere else, and an audio cue is being added when scientists are surprised. They'll also apparently be able to rush you if they get a few good shots in with half bullet damage, but double accuracy. Cheeky. Not sure how long these changes will take to cook, although the Wolf stuff did take a few months to come to fruition, so your guess is as good as mine at the moment. New lighting options, and being able to spawn at the outpost as well as campfires. But first, I have something to show you, because with Rust Mobile on the horizon, you're going to want the best hardware to run it on. This is Red Magic's new XS Pro, their latest monster gaming phone powered by the Snapdragon 8 Elite leading version processor, and with up to 24GB of RAM and a whole terabyte of storage. I've been using Red Magic's stuff for a couple of years now, and I'm always amazed at how good these phones look and perform, and the XS Pro is no exception. It's not just a cutting-edge phone, but also cuts through games like a lightsaber through an arm made of butter. You've got a 9.85-inch screen with 144Hz refresh rate, a completely sleek design with no camera bumps, and liquid metal cooling applied directly to the CPU, so it keeps everything chillier than ever before. In fact, it's made with extended sessions in mind, with a massive 7050 mAh battery with 80-watt fast charging. What I love the most is how customizable it is too. Red Magic's inbuilt game space comes with a ton of plugins and lets you tailor your experience with features like an EQ, screen extraction, key remapping, and a resolution booster. The dynamic RGB lighting's fully customizable for calls, texts, charging, alarms, movies and games. It comes with dual 50-megapixel cameras that can capture up to 8K video. It has 4D vibration feedback to add an extra tactile element to games, and 520Hz shoulder triggers which can be fully personalized. There's so much more packed into this device, but don't just take my word for it. Find out more and get your hands on the Red Magic XS Pro now by following my link in the description and pinned comment below. Back to the video. And July's update looks like it'll be focusing on friends, partying up, and spawn changes mainly. And as shown over the last couple of weeks, soon you'll be able to assign lit campfires to friends for them to spawn at, much like with sleeping bags, with a few provisos of course, and it seems like this is aimed more towards players joining their friends on a server for the first time, rather than a regular alternative to sleeping bags. For example, a recent commit shows that available campfire spawn options will not be shown to a player if they've placed any regular respawn points, bags, beds, etc. But something else intriguing is that I'm told the plan is to allow for spawning also at the compound, much like it is already in softcore mode. Unsure at the moment what restrictions there'll be on that, so don't get carried away, but do let me know your thoughts in the comments below please. Also, I'm not sure whether this will just apply to the compound or if the bandit camp will also be available, but time will tell. In addition to this, as mentioned previously, the plan is to let players party up before getting into a server and then all join at once, spawning somewhere within a 100-meter radius of each other the first time they do so. Not sure yet if there'll be any restrictions to numbers with this, but from the yays and nays ratio it might not be the most popular decision at the moment. It also looks like to go with this there'll be a completely new menu, which is actually the thing getting the most commits right now, and as shown last week, here are a few images of how it will look subject to change of course. And in related news, mouse wheel keybind and combo supports being added, along with wire slack keybinds in the new settings menu. What a time to be alive. It also looks like July's DLC will be themed around interior decor and lighting, with a whole IKEA's worth of new options, including chandeliers with a configurable length, fairy lights, strip lights, fluorescent lights and hanging lights. Also, as part of this, there's work on adding Manny the Mannequin for showing off / storing your attire, and potentially being a decoy, although I'm told he might not be getting added after all. Watch this space and I'll let you know. There were a lot of fixes and changes made over the last week that I'll just run through for you now in a completely random order. There was a fix for delivery drones, sometimes not making it to their destination, and adjustments to the single shelf pickup volume so it can be picked up when deployed above TCs, workbenches, etc. The F1 console no longer saves the quit command after it's entered, which prevents you loading the game up again and accidentally quitting because it was your last used command. The icon and text will always show when looking at a dropped item regardless of the crosshair mode setting. Discord functionality is being enabled on Mac. The patrol helicopter ride height's being increased by 10 meters so it doesn't clip into jungle trees. There was a fix for player metabolism tick accuracy being affected by low server FPS. There are new open and closed sounds being added for all corpses, the junkyard crane, snowmobile and water well, among other things that were missing. And some changes to Peacekeeper turrets are coming, with turrets in Peacekeeper mode now waiting and displaying a warning before attacking a player if they draw a weapon, but they will attack immediately if a player's hostile. The team are also planning on adding volumetric clouds in July's update, I'm told, which I showed on the Auxo 2 branch a couple of months ago. These were in the experimental options and changed the sky quite significantly without any particular performance issues that I could detect. They're also looking at updating and improving environment lighting volumes across all monuments, hot on the heels of this month's Spatially Aware Gentlemen's Club changes, which made dark volumes appear properly dark from the outside, being much fairer for everyone. Just a reminder that further afield there's a Pilot Hazmat DLC, which will include some kind of crashed pilot-themed Hazzy, along with an M15 pistol, presumably a reskin until I know better, and that is slated for August's patch. Could it look a bit like this, maybe? This is not official art, by the way. And then in October, as long as everything isn't too subject to change, the naval update should be arriving in port with an ocean full of new stuff, including boat building for players, scientist boat patrols, and floating cities, which are getting lots of new assets made for them at the moment, including security towers, mattresses, spotlights, hanging fish, arrow buckets and bullet containers, and bloody rags, to mention a few. How many of these floating cities will there be? Who will live there? And what might they sell you? If there's a new bandit-run shop, I just hope the team call it something like Sea Dog to counterbalance Airwolf. They can have that one from me for free. Also, I might just add that there are many, many secret branches being worked on with lots of secret commits, so probably a few surprises on the way too. Let me know what you think to all this down below, please. Right, you are now up to date. Leave a like and a sub. Check me out on my socials, including my Steam group, and you can support my work here via YouTube membership, super thanks, and on Patreon. I shall catch you all soon, but in the meantime, keep calm and stay rusty. Cheerio.